Hello and welcome to our today's Devtoberfest session. My name is Frank Jentsch. I'm a development executive and I'm leading the product SAP BTP ABAP Environment. In this today's session, I'm joined by my colleague Ronny Palke. Hello, Ronny. Could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. Hello, also from my side. My name is Ronny Palge. I'm a team member of the product management team for ABAP platform, and I am responsible for partner scenarios on SAP BTP ABAP Environment. And with that, back to you, Frank.
Yeah, thanks, Ronny. So the title of this today's session is Building Partner Products on SAP BTP ABAP Environment. First of all, a very short remark. So I will also use the term steampunk, which is an abbreviation of the official product name. So just to remind, steampunk is nothing else than SAP BTP ABAP Environment. So let's take a look on the agenda of today's session. I would like to start a bit with the positioning of steampunk, followed by best practices. And then I would like to introduce our demo, which we want to present today. And Ronny will then follow with the topic of product deployment options. And after this, we also want to explain a bit more about the different extensibility options which we are providing with steampunk. And we want to close this session with an outlook and roadmap. So first of all, regarding the positioning of steampunk. So first of all, it's important to understand that in all these options of the extensibility for S/4HANA, steampunk is positioned as a side-by-side option. So therefore, steampunk is used to build ABAP-based side-by-side solutions in order to extend S/4HANA. If we taking a look into the characteristics of steampunk, what are the main ingredients? So first of all, we are providing public APIs. We have a cloud-optimized ABAP language. We are providing ABAP development tools as the only one development environment for ABAP. We are supporting the ABAP RESTful Application Programming Model, in short RAP. And RAP is also using the very well-established ABAP core data services. So we want to focus only on the BTP part of this side, and but we also need to take into consideration that ABAP Cloud, which was introduced years ago, is a feature set which is delivered by different products, and one of these products is of course steampunk, which is ABAP in BTP. But ABAP Cloud is also delivered by different S/4HANA products. So namely S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition, where ABAP Cloud is mandatory and enforced. But there are also other products of S/4HANA Cloud, so the private edition, but also S/4HANA on-premise, where ABAP Cloud is supported starting with the release 22, but in those two products also the classic ABAP development model is possible. All right, so if we take a look into the product offering of steampunk, it's important to mention that steampunk provides quarterly releases. We are providing always the newest and greatest features of ABAP Cloud, and it's intended to build and run side-by-side applications built with ABAP on BTP. And if a customer or partner is building those products, the customer or partner is using the released APIs and services of steampunk. So in order to connect to an S/4HANA system, for example, a remote API is required in order to read and update data. Steampunk itself is nothing else than a standard product of BTP. It's part of the Discovery Center. You can find it, and here you can also find additional information about pricing, service plans, and the like. And I just want to mention also the different target groups, which are addressed by steampunk. So of course, it's intended for education purposes. Therefore we are offering a free tier service plan where you can try it out, especially the RAP programming model. But of course, for customers, we want to enable customers to build side-by-side applications for their core businesses. And for partners, and this is the focus of this session, partners want to develop and run multi-tenancy enabled SaaS solutions for their customers. And here we have different requirements compared to customers. And we will see this also later in a demo. And last but not least, Steampunk is also used for SAP products. So in the meanwhile, there are 5 different SAP products on SAP's price list, of course, and running on Steampunk. All right, so now I would like to introduce a few best practices. If you start with Steampunk, a few aspects should be considered. So these are best practices and our experiences of our existing customers and partners. So first of all, again, there is a free tier option for Steampunk. You can just try before you buy. There's a limitation of 90 days, but you can start trying it out. Once you would like to start a real development, you need to create a development system or convert your free tier system. All the objects remain the same. If you start with free tier, it's just a conversion. And if you start a real project, you should create a software component, because the software component is a delivery unit for your product. So this is mandatory, otherwise you cannot transport your developed objects out of the system. So then, of course, in ADT, so ABAP development tools, you would start developing your ABAP objects, and you would also release your transport, like it's well known even from the on-premise world. And then after finishing the first version in a development system, you should create a test system where you import this software component into the test system and start testing it in this test system. So as a conclusion and a result of these steps, we recommend to create only the really required systems. So it means you do not need to set up the whole system landscape from the very first beginning, because it creates also costs. But you can create a test system once you really need it. And an important remark, second remark, is please use system hibernation. System hibernation helps you to save costs. If you do not use a development system or a test system, maybe during the weekend, you can just hibernate the system, and according to our consumption-based settlement, you can save costs. So if it comes to the BTP account setup, we highly recommend to create a separate sub-account per system. So this gives you a maximum of flexibility, because an important setting is the trust settings. So the trust settings controls the IDP, so the identity provider, how the authentication to the Steampunk system works. So therefore, due to the fact that the trust settings are a property of the sub-account, it's highly recommended to have a separate sub-account per system. So because with this approach, you can distinguish different IDPs for your different systems. Furthermore, you also need to choose the appropriate region if you create a sub-account, and in this region later on the Steampunk system will be provisioned. So today we are supporting 19 different regions of 3 hyperscalers, so AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. And yeah, this selection is done during the creation of a sub-account. The third recommendation is please create only one Cloud Foundry space per sub-account. So technically you need to assign a Steampunk system to a Cloud Foundry space, but we don't want to add additional meaning to this Cloud Foundry entity. So please do not use spaces for different for other settings. So it is just mandatory to use it because we are part of Cloud Foundry, but it should not have additional meaning. So that's also the last recommendation. So please do not add additional meaning to Cloud Foundry spaces. All right, so with regard to the setup of one single Steampunk system, so the recommendation is always start with the minimum system size, which is one ABAP compute unit plus 2 HANA compute units. So both of these two metrics, so the ABAP part and the HANA database part, can be easily increased later on and even also decreased later on, also within the same BTP cockpit. So there's one important setting because currently it cannot be changed. So please switch off the development system setting for non-development systems. So especially for test and productive system, please switch it off. This gives you an additional guarantee that there are no manual changes allowed in the system via ADT. And the last thing, just to have it more readable, please change the default system ID, which is H01, to a more meaningful system ID like def or TST for test. So that's, but just for readable purposes. So there's even also no check. You can have also more than one system with the same system ID, but it's maybe more confusing. So one remark regarding the sizing. So even if you use the minimum system size, we experienced productive scenarios of our customers that even 1,000 active business users per day could be run on a Steampunk system with only one ABAP compute unit. So it means even only one ABAP compute unit is a very powerful setup. All right, so with that, I would like to introduce now our demo scenario. We have a very simple demo scenario. It's just one database table with a small UI. It's just about maintaining event master data. So, and it's about events like this one, like the Oktoberfest session is just one event, and we want to maintain the master data and only a couple of fields. So we want to show this in a 3-system landscape and even more systems according to the different deployment options. And from the very first beginning, we want to consider multi-tenancy enabling. So the involved personas in these scenarios are the administrator of the partner, the backend and UI developer on partner side, and on customer side, we have, of course, an administrator. We have optionally a key user and a developer in order to do extensions. And of course, this is the most important persona. We have the end user on customer side. Our prerequisites are that we have a running system set up in the BTP cockpit, so everything was installed, and we have also the ABAP development tools locally installed on my local laptop. All right, so the account setup, and I will show this also live in a couple of seconds. So we have an account set up in our BTP global account, and we access the global account via the BTP cockpit. I would like to use, first of all, a demo scenario for the development process. And I will start with the development system DEV, where I will show you how to develop in principle this very small app. And later on, I will transport these developed objects into a test system. Again, I'm using the minimal system configuration, the minimal system setup. I could add more later on statically, but it's not required for our small demo. So with that, I would like to first of all, move into the BTP cockpit, because from an administrator perspective, everything starts in the BTP cockpit. And as an administrator, I can create sub-accounts, can provision ABAP systems and so on. And I already did it for my development system. But just to show you how it works, so this is one global account, our test global account. And here I have one sub-account with the name 01 develop. And in this sub-account, I can filter and look into my instances. And here I can see my development instance. So that's basically also the navigation option, how to navigate into the Fiori Launchpad for the administrator for that system. But I would like to jump directly into my ADT, which is connected to exactly this system, which runs on AWS in Frankfurt. So therefore, I'm just navigating now into my local installation of ABAP development tools. And as I already mentioned, I started with the creation of the software component and pulled the initial version of the software component into my system. And this gives me a structure package of my app. So it's of type structure, and below the structure package, I already created a normal development package with the name for my app. And I would like to implement a small event app. So of course I prepared a lot of these objects, and the important entity here is our database table. This database table contains the event master data, so the event header data of our events. And this is basically the structure of this database table. It's, of course, very important using the client field, which is the important characteristic to support multi-tenancy. And I have furthermore a primary key and a GUID for the event itself, an event ID name, and so on. And I already implemented a small class runner test, which implements this interface. Therefore, I have a main method, and in this main method, I wanted to add statically a few database table entries, just test data with events to our database table. And at the end, somewhere there is an insert statement to this database table and a commit work, and that's it. And I can run this console application just with pressing F9. And 6 entries were added. I can go to the database table, open the preview, and here we go. I created 6 entries with the console application and with the bit of test data. And here we go. Here we are. Our Devtoberfest session today, which is online, not on-site. So these are just a few properties. So and now, and I already did it, I can use the RAP generator to generate a UI service on top of this database table. And after specifying a few of the repository names, I'm getting a service binding, which represents an OData v4 service. And I can directly do a preview and do a check, a test of whether the UI works. So I'm getting this Fiori elements preview of my OData service, and if I press go, I can see all the existing test data. But furthermore, I can even create a new entry, because this business object works completely with all these so-called CRUD services, so create, update, delete. And let us test it. And just only small test data. And here we go. Here we have also a new entry here. All right, so that's all for this really small demo app because we don't want to focus on how to use RAP to implement complex business transactions. We want to focus more on the lifecycle management aspects, how to deliver it from a partner's perspective to the customers of that partner. So let me jump back to the presentation. So what I did was basically to run all these through all these different steps to build an application. So I already did it, and I can also transport now this developed artifact to the test system. So in order to use a test system, I just navigate into the test system. Let me show this also very quickly to you. I'm going now into the sub account because I mentioned we should have a different sub account for a different system. And now I would like to navigate into our test system and how it works to import the developed artifacts is to go into this test system. And here I start in the administrator's Fiori Launchpad. Here we can also see in the title bar TST. So I can use the software component app in order to pull the changes into that system. And here I can press the pull button, and I already did it, and this imports all the objects of this software component into the test system. And now, due to the fact that I'm also an administrator, I can give I can assign the respective business role for the event master data management to my user, and this is done in the identity and access management section. So I already generated a business role out of the transported template for this business role, and I can assign the respective users. So, and my user, just one moment. My user is already assigned to this business role, and this leads to the fact because for this business role, also in Fiori Launchpad space is assigned to, I can see a respective tile and a respective section, a respective Fiori Launchpad page here in the Launchpad, and I can access this maintain events app directly from the Launchpad. And in this tenant, in this system, I do not see the data because now I'm in another system. It's TST and not in the development system, and therefore I do not see the data from the development system. This I think obvious because it's another system. But I'm able to test my application, and then after finishing the testing, I can now think of how to deploy this, how to offer this application to my customers. So therefore, I'm switching now to the presentation again, and I would like to explain the two different product deployment options we want to offer. So first of all, you need to think of the different commercial models, how to sell the products to your customers. You can find a respective blog post for this topic, because in this session I would like to focus more on the technical part. So we have two different models how to offer, and there are also implications how to operate the product for your customers. So first of all, we have the option to run this product as a multi-tenancy SaaS solution. In that case, it's nothing else than a cloud service. So the partner would offer a cloud service. The customer would subscribe to this service, and the subscription would lead to an own tenant within the partner's central provider system. And yeah, it would be based on a subscription. So the application monitoring and the management of the infrastructure cost is completely in the responsibility of the partner. And very important, and I will show you a live demo later on, it's even possible with this scenario, so with a multi-tenancy SaaS solution, that your customers can even do field extensibility and custom logic to extend your solution. So we call this key user extensibility because there is no ADT access and the like. So we also want to offer a second option. It's not available today, but we plan to deliver this in Q4 this calendar year. And it's called installable product. So in that case, the partners offers simply the product, and yeah, it's comparable with an add-on. That was the term in the on-premise world, or is the term in the on-premise world. It's nothing else than an add-on, but we want to use the term product. And it's basically, yeah, software. So it's not a service, it's software. And it would mean that the customer is installing this product into the own customer's instance of Steampunk. So therefore, the installation and also the maintenance and those things are completely in responsibility by the customer. And we are providing a tool which is called Landscape Portal in order to support all these processes. In this scenario, because the software is available in the customer system and the customer has, of course, ADT access to his own system, this product can be extended by the RAP extensibility using ADT. And this is, we call this developer extensibility. And this is, of course, also a very powerful extensibility option. And the good thing is, as a partner, you could even combine both options for the same product. So you could say for smaller scenarios, you could or smaller customers, you could offer your product as a multi-tenancy SaaS solution, which can have then a more cheaper pricing from a service perspective, because it would run on a central provider system on partner side. Or you could offer this product as an installable product to your customers, and in that scenario, it would be installed on customer side, and it would be like an private edition, so to say, where the data is stored within the customer's system. So these two options will be supported. The second one, again, it's not available today, but our plan is to offer this by end of this calendar year. All right, so in order to finally build a product which can be deployed in one of these two things, you should really be aware of the different lifecycle management tools which we are offering. And I would like to explain this very shortly. So we have basically the ABAP Git tool, which is only used to import development objects initially into a Steampunk system. For example, from an on-premise system or from another type of system, but it's only used to initially import development objects into a Steampunk system, or later on to back up your system if you want to stop using Steampunk and if you want to transfer your objects out of the system. If you want to transport objects from one Steampunk system to another one, especially from dev to test, you need to use the app which I shown before, manage software components, and technically GCTS, so Git enabled change and transport system, is used under the hood. So this small G means there's really a Git approach underneath, and currently it's a hidden Git repo, but there's also one option to use bring your own Git. And again, this is just to transport between Steampunk systems within the same global account of the partner. So if you want to offer the product for example, for another BTP global account, maybe if you want to distinguish your development from your productive use for your customers, or if you want to offer it as an installable product later on, you need to build a product, and you need to build a product with the help of the Landscape Portal. Again, the Landscape Portal is a tool set which we are providing as part of Steampunk, so there's no additional license required. It's part of the Steampunk entitlement. If we take a look more deeper into the technical aspects, so again, you need to use a software component because this is the delivery unit of all what you are doing. Even if you build a UI, even if you build a freestyle UI5 UI with the help of Business Application Studio, and you would even deploy this back to the Steampunk system, everything would be part of the software component, and the software component represents self-contained all the objects which are required to run the product. So it's highly recommended that you, as a partner, use an ABAP namespace. So please, if there's no namespace available for you yet, then please register a new ABAP namespace in this with a central approach, which is independent of Steampunk. So in SAP, for me, you can register an ABAP namespace, and then you can use this registered ABAP namespace also in the Steampunk system. So the point is, you can only build a product based on ABAP namespaces. So you cannot build a product if you are using Z or Y objects. So this is not possible. You can transport Z or Y objects within your global account with the help of GCTS. But in order to build a product, you need an ABAP namespace. And it starts even with the software component name, where you also need your ABAP namespace. All right, so I talked a little bit about the Landscape Portal. So it's a central tool to manage different aspects, even manage system hibernation, but also other aspects like building a product and so on. And you need to subscribe to it. You need to subscribe to the Landscape Portal. It's part of the Steampunk entitlement, but you need to subscribe it. And it's basically a collection of different apps for different purposes. And one purpose is to build a product. Another purpose is to deploy products. And yet another one is to register all these entries that your product appears in the marketplace of the BTP cockpit. So there's one disclaimer, as I mentioned. So the installable product feature is now only a lab preview in today's session. So it's not available yet, but we want to show a lab preview. And with that, I would like to hand over to Ronny, and Ronny will explain these two different deployment options.
Yo, thanks, Frank, for your introduction already to the different delivery models and also the Landscape Portal as a central tool. Let me share my screen. So I take this one, and you should be able to see the PowerPoint presentation, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. So as Frank has already mentioned, two delivery models. One was the SaaS solution or SaaS delivery, software as a service, and the delivery of a product as an installable product. From infrastructure point of view, you see that also for the build and provider system, the minimum computing units are enough. And you see also that two systems are newly introduced. So the development and the test is already finished, and now we are talking about building a product and provide this product as a SaaS solution. That's why the build system here is mentioned, and also the provider system. Yeah, Frank already mentioned this. Start with the minimum sizing, because the size can increase afterwards on demand. In terms of the build system, there are different options to reduce costs. On one hand side, you can say, okay, you want to have this build system just temporary or as a transient system. Or you can also say, okay, I want to hibernate this build system if you decided to keep the system as a permanent system. Hibernate means that you can shut down and start the system whenever you want on your purpose. Okay, so then let's have an overview about the product build in terms of a SaaS delivery. So first of all, independent of the delivery scenario, in every case, you have to build the product, and the product needs to be built with help of the landscape portal with a certain version. You have the chance to check the product version, and then you see the last line, configure deployment and deploy SaaS solution. Then the delivery specific part begins. And I would say, let's have a look on the product build and the deployment as SaaS solution. So let me go to the landscape portal. So then let's start from the global account of your development. And in your global account, there you have a sub-account for the landscape portal, and you can easily access the landscape portal from this sub-account. The landscape portal is a really central tool that allows you to perform lifecycle management operations, such as provisioning new tenants, building a product, deploy SaaS solution, and so on. And we want to start with the product build. And you see here a chapter, Software Product Lifecycle Management, and the product build always begins with registering a product, because you need to register this, that the global account needs to know, okay, this will be your product. And with registering your product, here you say the product names which can be registered. And if I go here to the event app, you see that the global account is currently already registered, because this is our demo app, and we did this already in the past. So if I go here, so let me check if I can minimize this one window. So, and can I move it down? Okay, so great. And here you see the registration status that this is already registered. Yeah, once you have registered the product, you continue the product build with the build product version app. Really important, or really a recommendation, is that an existing CI/CD subscription is in the same sub-account as the landscape portal subscription. And if you used Booster for the landscape portal to set up your landscape, then you do not even care about, but this is a prerequisite. And let's go on to that app. So you see all products that have been registered and are able to be built. And let's take the event app and let's have a look what's there inside. You see to two topics. On one hand side, the product version, on the other hand side, the templates. That means the product build is based on template, the so-called pipeline template. And those templates are reflecting different types of pipelines. So you see there is a type release delivery, support package stack, and so on. That means you can configure a template dependent on the type of change you want to build a new version of. Is it a release? Is it a support package, or maybe a patch? And below you have the three further templates, but always with test before. That means you have the chance to just do a test product build to ensure that no error occurs during the product build. So we have configured here the release delivery. Let's have a look into that. What's in there? You have 5 steps that need to be filled in. And the prepare system contains technical settings about the Cloud Foundry environment and the ABAP build system. So that means these are technical settings of the system where the product is built. And as already mentioned, here's checkbox. You can keep the system, you can deactivate this, then you have a transient system, so it's automatically decommissioned afterwards, or you use the system hibernation to reduce costs. On the next step, you have to decide or to choose one of the possible clone strategies. You can do a git clone, or you can do a pull fitting to your use case. And then we have 3 further steps. ATC is a quality setting, so you can decide to run ATC checks and also with which variant. And the build happens by a user, by a technical user, and here you configure the authentication method. And step 5 is also a really important step, because here you have the chance to build a system which runs so-called integration tests. And this integration test is to test your installation. That means you can run a test installation to verify that the product can be installed without any errors. And that's a really cool feature, because with this test installation, if any error happens here, then the product version is not really built. And in case of special errors, the version number is not locked. That means you can take the version number and build a new, fresh version that contains a bug fix. Normally, if an error occurs, then a rollback routine is started, and it's tried to get the version number already released, but there might be some cases where the version number cannot be released, and then you must take a new one. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so once you have configured this template, you go then back to product versions, and you select the last product version, and you go then to create. And you can choose between a productive product version or just a test build. I can choose here now release delivery as well as the patch delivery template, because those are the 2 templates we have configured here in this environment. So let's start with the release delivery. And there, new wizard opens, and here you define settings regarding your software components. That means if I go here to edit, you let the landscape portal know, okay, which version from which branch with which commit ID should be taken into account. And with that settings, the product version is then built. So then you go to save. I do this not now yet. You go to save and then build product version. And then the product build runs. You have, of course, the chance to check your product version, and therefore is also a certain app in place. So let me go back to the home screen here. You have the app check product version. So the build process has been finished. And then you're looking here for your product. I choose again the event app. And then it's loading. You see all the product versions here. You see also delivery status is ready for production. So this is already a good sign. And if you go therein, you have further details. You can see the status of the product delivery check, which has been executed. You see a list of objects that are included into this product, and also the software components. So, okay, with that, the product has been built, and the product does not know anything about its delivery afterwards. So that means this product, and this is the good news, this product you can take or you can deliver as a SaaS solution as well as an installable product. As we are focusing on the SaaS solution, let's go ahead with the maintain solution app. And within this app, you have first to create a solution. On one hand side, you have now the product, and now you want to deliver this product as a SaaS solution, and therefore you have to create the solution. That means you go here to the create button, and there you have various kind of settings. Of course, every solution needs an ID and a title, and title and description is visible to the consumer at the end. So then we go to the next. It is called plan, and everything you specify here is related to the system, where at the end your single or multi-tenant, dependent on the amount of customer which are using the SaaS solution, application is running. The so-called provide system. But also product, or where the product is then running. And you let also the solution know the system name and the version. Here, always the latest version shall be part of the solution. Yeah, and then you have some advanced settings. Okay, after having created the solution, let me go again in the event app. You have then configured the deployment. So you have now said, okay, this is my solution. I know the system where to run the solution, and now you have to create some kind of deployment configuration. And this deployment configuration takes also the consumer side or customer side into account, because up to the solution we are always looking to the product and solution part, and now we are taking also the consumer side into account. And maybe either I do a create, or maybe I do let's do the create. So you can also give the deployment configuration an ID, and now you're specify the target system, or especially the Cloud Foundry settings, because the target system we have already configured in the solution. And afterwards, the routing information contains then the customer side. So that means you have the domain type. It's the customer can decide, is it a shared domain or a custom domain, so to say, the own domain. And with the subdomains, maybe I show you this on an already configured deployment configuration. This is the part where you put the subdomains from the consumer subaccounts into. Let's have a look how it looks like for the configuration that is already done. So the subdomains here are the subdomains of the consumer subaccounts. That means this multi-tenant solution has four tenants, or at least they are configured here. So having created also a deployment configuration, you can then just go here to deploy, and deployment is running in the background. Of course, you get also a status view of your current deployment, and if an error happens, you get a log what the root cause is, and so on. Okay, so then deployment is running, and now the solution is created. The solution is deployed as a SaaS solution. You can then go to the systems overview, and let me show the multi-tenancy. We have running our event app on the AET system. And as I already mentioned, there were some subdomains already configured. And here you see that the different consumers are reflected as tenants. And every tenant gets an own tenant ID, and the client 100 or tenant 100. This is reserved for the running or production tenant, so to say. Okay, from the landscape portal side, we have already done. And the question is, how can the consumer then access the application and consume the SaaS service? Therefore, we go back and we switch now the account. We are now in the role not of the partner or provider, but we are now in the role of the consumer. And the consumer has this sub-account in this global account. And there are now two options. The consumer can consume this SaaS application. The option one is you are in instances and subscription, and you can go here on create and select then the service you want. And there is the event app because you want to consume the event app. And this is just getting red because the sub account is already subscribed to this plan. This is option one. And option two is you can then go to the service marketplace. And here you see all products and services that are offered to you as a consumer. And here's the event app. You click on the event app. And then you go here click on create. And I cannot click because subscription is already created, but this create would build you a new subscription. And you can see this then, the subscription in instances and subscription that here you have, and you are subscribed to this solution. So let's go back to the presentation. So we have already covered the product build phase. Of course, it's done by the partner or by the administrator. And the subscription is then done by the administrator on consumer side. And the consumer can then log on to the SAP Fiori Launchpad, search and test the app. That means, yeah, maybe I can also show this shortly to you. That means he clicks just on this application, and then the screen is, the application is starting and he can access to it. So this is a thing, the access is already shown or already covered by Frank. So, okay. And now let's go ahead with the installable product. From an infrastructure perspective, yeah, there aren't the big changes, so you still need a build system because, as already mentioned, the development, test, and product build phase remains the same. And you take one product, and we recently deployed this as a SaaS solution, and now we want to deliver this as an installable product, which is not running on a provide system for a lot of customer in that case, but rather every customer installs this installable product in his own landscape. And that's why it's the purpose also customer system and sub-account is customer and not just consumer, although a consumer is also a customer, but the consumer is just a consumer and the customer does also a little operating of the product because he is responsible for the product installation. And again, start with the minimum sizing and cost reducing. We already covered this topic. From the product build perspective, you see it's again register product, build product, check product version, and now the last line, make product available to the customer. It's now not a SaaS deployment, but it's you publish the product as an installable product. And the customer on customer side, or the admin on customer side, he does not know, he does not get a notification if a partner, so to say, has published a product. He needs to check the products and add the product of his pool of available product. And he does this with the Discover product app and install it with the Deploy product app. And this is what I would like to show you also in the landscape portal. That's why let's go back and let's stay in the development account, because the publishing of the product happens still in the global account for development. So let's open again the landscape portal. And maybe you have already seen before the publish app. On the product installation chapter, you have the app publish product, and this is the app the partner uses to make this product available as installable product. So I have filtered already for the product name. I would like to provide the event app. So let's go here on the event app. And there is no big configuration necessary because the product is already built. You just need to specify the distribution channel. There are different distribution channels available. Maybe if I go to edit, we can see that besides the customer ERP ID, it's also possible to publish this application to the SAP store. But you can decide which one, so to say, is the best for you, for your use case. I've chosen here the direct customer ERP ID. And here you can determine what product version shall be published. It must not be the latest version. You can also publish older versions as per your wish. So then you go here on Save on the right corner, and once you have saved it, you can then go to you can click the Publish button, and this product is published. So then now let's switch the customer to the customer perspective. That means we go to the customer side and there to the global account. And let's then here go into the customer sub-account and run the landscape portal. And you will see that on customer side, the customer can view all external products that have been published to him via this app. So let's open the customer products app. And here the customer has an overview about all the products that have been published to him. And the event app is already published. Otherwise, he needs to register first in the sense of adding this product to the pool of the available products. So, and with that, it's registered here and all is fine. So the customer can, or the administrator on customer side can go back and can now install this product with the help of the deploy product app. So let's go here. On the right hand side, you see the planning calendar with all the planned downtimes. And on the left hand side, you can select the product. There are a lot of products available. And of course, the event app will be shown here. You can decide which version you want to install. Okay, this version is the published and provided version, and then you decide the system, the customer system, where to install or where this product will be installed. And once you have set the system and also the time schedule, this deploy button gets activated and you can then run the deployment. And once the deployment is running or installation is running, and a window occurs with this product, or this wizard is updated, this product version deployment state is updated, and you can get the current status with all the steps from this view. And this approach is not a subscription-based approach like it is for the SaaS solution. So the customer here installs the product, and when we go back to his sub-account, you can see that he does not have an event app subscription, but rather running an instance having that event app installed here. Okay, so with that, I would like to hand back to you, Frank. Maybe let's check let's check the hand over back to you, Frank, and let us know something about extensibility.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ronnie. Due to time limits, I would like to move on with the summary. And I would like to summarize what we saw in this demo. So the typical partner development and delivery process is to develop, test, and build the product. And after building the product and providing it to the landscape portal storage, so there is one option for multi-tenancy SaaS offering. So where the offering runs within the partner's productive global account. So and there's only one subscription, so no real infrastructure, no real hardware, so to say, in the customer's area, but there's only one subscription from a customer sub account to the tenant in the central provider system. But there's also yet another option, option 2, install the product. This means that there is no central provider system of the partner. Partner just provides the product as software and the customer installs the product into his own system. So these are the two available options. And yeah, now I would like to add a bit information about the roadmap. So I would like to highlight that we are currently working on the reduction of our planned maintenance windows for HFC, so for hotfix collection imports, but also for upgrades. And another very important and big topic is high availability and disaster recovery, which are basically topics for the next calendar year. You can find all the roadmap details in our external page on help.sap.com with all the details for these different topics and even also for additional ABAP Cloud topics. So it's just one source of references. You can also watch our monthly customer and partner roundtables. The next customer roundtables is about SQL-based data integration. We have also, of course, a lot of references to our web pages and a lot of tutorials, even for the SaaS registry, what we saw in the demo by Ronnie. All right, so now it's your turn. You can directly start even with a trial offering. Here's the link to our trial offering. And yeah, that's all for our today's session. It was full packed with demos and a lot of information. So thanks a lot for your participation and stay healthy and take care. Bye-bye.